Stop scrolling. Is your name on the IRS list for the February 10th payment wave? As we hit this mid-month milestone, millions of Americans are waking up to surprise deposits. But there is a massive amount of confusion about who is actually getting paid today. Whether you're waiting on a tax refund, an SSDI boost, or searching for those rumored stimulus dividends, the next 24 hours are critical for your bank account. The IRS and SSA have just updated their schedules, and if your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th, you are in the primary group for this week's direct deposits. But wait, did you know that a specific group of early filers who claimed the earned income tax credit might see a delay until March, while others are seeing catch-up payments for 2025 underpayments? We are breaking down the official Modernizing Payments executive order and showing you exactly how to track your specific status using the IRS Where's My Refund portal and the SSA's 2026 payment calendar. Don't let your funds sit in pending limbo. We've got the latest on the 2.8% COLA adjustment and the truth behind the $2,000 dividend talk that's taking over the headlines. We're giving you the facts, the dates, and the eligibility checks you need right now. If you want to stay ahead of the IRS and make sure you get every penny you're owed, hit that like button and let's get into the details. To dive straight into the heart of this update, we have to look at the massive shift occurring at the Internal Revenue Service and the Social Security Administration as we cross the February 10th threshold. This isn't just a regular Tuesday. For millions of beneficiaries, it marks the start of the most significant distribution week of the first quarter. You've likely heard a lot of conflicting information about these payments, but the reality comes down to a blend of the 2026 COLA adjustment, the opening of the 2025 tax filing season, and a new executive mandate focused on payment modernization. If you are sitting there checking your mobile banking app and seeing a pending status, you are likely part of the primary wave of recipients whose birthdays fall between the 1st and the 10th of the month. The SSA officially confirms that while the calendar date for the second Wednesday falls on February 11th, many major financial institutions and digital-first banks are authorized to release those funds up to 24 to 48 hours early. This is why February 10th has become the unofficial payday for a huge portion of the SSDI and retirement community. Understanding why this February is different requires us to look at the Modernizing Payments executive order that was issued recently. The IRS is moving away from the old-school paper check system at an accelerated pace. If you are still waiting on a physical check in the mail, you are likely going to see a longer lead time than your neighbors who have switched to direct deposit. The goal of this modernization is to ensure that federal benefits, whether they are your monthly Social Security check, a VA disability payment, or a tax refund, hit your account simultaneously rather than being staggered over weeks. For those of you who have been asking about stimulus checks, it is vital to distinguish between a new legislative stimulus and the dividend payments currently being discussed in Washington. While a new federal stimulus package hasn't been signed into law this month, the administration is heavily leaning into the concept of tax rebates and tariff dividends. These are essentially one-time payments that function like stimulus checks but are processed through the IRS as part of your 2025 tax return. If you file your taxes early in February, you could see a significantly higher refund than in previous years, which many are calling a de facto stimulus. Let's get specific about the birth date brackets for a moment, because this is where most people lose track of their money. If your birthday is between the 1st and the 10th, your official payment date is February 11th, but the pre-check processing starts today, February 10th. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, your money is scheduled for February 18. And for those born between the 21st and the 31st, you are looking at February 25. However, there is a special legacy group that doesn't follow these rules. If you began receiving benefits before May 1997, or if you receive both Social Security and SSI, known as concurrent benefits, your payment was actually issued back on February 3rd. If you are in that group and you haven't seen your money yet, that is a major red flag that requires immediate attention. It could mean your account information was caught in the recent system update, or there is an issue with your 2026 COLA verification. Speaking of COLA, The 2.8% increase for 2026 is now fully integrated into these February checks. While we saw the first glimpse of this in January, February is the first clean month where most recipients will see the true net impact of the raise after Medicare Part B premiums are deducted. The standard Medicare Part B premium for 2026 has adjusted, and for many, it is eating up a portion of that 2.8% raise. If you noticed your check is slightly lower than you calculated, it is almost certainly due to the healthcare premium adjustment rather than a mistake by the SSA. This is a tough pill to swallow when inflation is still hitting the grocery store, but it is important to know that your base benefit did go up. It's just being offset by the rising cost of medical coverage. For our veterans, the VA has aligned its disability compensation schedule to match this mid-month surge. If you are a veteran with a disability rating, your February payment should reflect the same 2.8% COLA increase. The VA has been working closely with the Treasury to ensure that there are no processing gaps for those who rely on both VA and Social Security funds. This synchronization is part of a larger effort to prevent the mid-month crunch where families run out of money before their next check arrives. If you are a veteran and you haven't seen your updated 2026 award letter, you can access it through the myVA portal to see exactly how your disability tier has been adjusted for the new year. Now, we have to talk about the IRS and the 2025 tax year filing, which is happening right now. The IRS officially opened the doors for the 2026 filing season in late January, and they are moving at record speeds. If you are an early filer and you claimed the Earned Income Tax Credit, EITC, or the Additional Child Tax Credit, ACTC, the law actually prevents the IRS from issuing your refund before mid-February. This means that February 10th is the day many of those held refunds are finally being unstuck and prepared for deposit. If you are in this category, you should start seeing your Where's My Refund status change from received to approved this week. These refunds are expected to be some of the largest in history due to the new family tax credits included in the One Big Beautiful Bill legislation, with some families seeing an extra $1,000 to $2,000 per child. There is also a significant group of people who qualify for retroactive payments. If you had a change in your disability status or income level during 2025 that wasn't processed until the end of the year, the SSA is using the February 10th payment cycle to issue those back pay amounts. This often comes as a separate deposit from your regular monthly check. If you see a random deposit of $500, $1,000, or even more, don't assume it's a mistake, and don't spend it all at once until you've verified it in your My Social Security message center. Usually, this is the system finally catching up with you and giving you the money you were owed from previous months. We also need to address the stimulus dividend rumors that are circulating on social media. You might have seen headlines claiming that every Social Security recipient is getting an automatic $2,000 check on February 10th. We have to be very careful here. While there is a proposal for a national dividend funded by recent tariff revenues, it has not been issued as a universal automatic payment for everyone yet. What is happening is that specific states are issuing their own inflation relief checks, and the federal government is considering a tax rebate that would be added to your tax refund. So, while you might see an extra $2,000 this month, it is likely coming through your tax filing rather than as a standalone stimulus check from the SSA. This is why we are telling everyone, file your 2025 taxes as soon as possible, even if you don't normally have to file. If you don't file, the IRS doesn't have a way to send you these new credits and rebates. Another critical update involves the double payment month of February. Because March 1st falls on a Sunday, the SSI payments for March will be moved up to Friday, February 27th. This means that SSI recipients will see their first February payment, which arrived Jan 30, and then their March payment on February 27th. While it feels like you're getting extra money in February, you have to remember that you won't get another check until April 1st. This creates a massive 5-week gap that can catch people off guard. If you are receiving these funds on the 10th and then again on the 27th, please plan your budget accordingly. This calendar quirk happens a few times a year, and it is the #1 reason people fall behind on their March rent. If you are currently looking at your bank account and nothing has arrived, there are 3 things you need to do. First, check your My Social Security account for any alerts or notices. If the SSA tried to reach you about a change in your benefits and you didn't respond, they may have placed a temporary hold on your funds. Second, verify that your bank hasn't changed its routing number or been part of a recent merger. We've seen several mid-sized banks update their systems in 2026, which has caused some direct deposits to bounce back to the Treasury. Third, if everything looks correct on your end, wait until the morning of February 12th before calling. The surge in payments on the 10th and 11th often creates a digital traffic jam in the ACH system, and funds can sometimes take 24 hours to fully settle. The most important takeaway for this February 10th window is that the system is working, but it is moving in waves. The check if you qualify part of this headline refers to the fact that thousands of people are eligible for the Extra Help program, which helps pay for prescription drugs, but haven't applied. If you find that your monthly check isn't enough to cover your medications, you can apply for this during the same window that these payments are going out. It can save you an average of $5,000 a year, which is a far bigger stimulus than any one-time check. As we continue through this week, we are going to see more data from the Treasury Department about the tariff dividend progress and the 2026 tax refund averages. We are committed to keeping you updated every step of the way. The financial landscape is changing fast in 2026, with new rules, new payment schedules, and new eligibility requirements for low-income seniors and veterans. By staying informed and knowing exactly which wave you fall into, you can stop worrying about the when and start focusing on your financial health. Keep an eye on your mail, keep an eye on your bank app, and most importantly, keep an eye on the official notices from the IRS and SSA. We are in this together, and we will make sure you don't miss a single penny of the benefits you've earned through years of hard work and service. Stay tuned for our next deep dive as we track the February 18th and February 25th payment waves and provide more details on the upcoming March early deposit schedule. Wrapping up this major update, we have to look at the what's next factor. If you followed the schedule and checked your birth bracket, but your February 10 or 11 payment still hasn't surfaced, the most important thing you can do is maintain a level head. The Treasury's digital highway is more crowded this year than ever before, especially with the 2026 COLA adjustments and the new One Big Beautiful Bill tax credits launching simultaneously. Most banks officially state that while a deposit is initiated on the 10th, it may not reflect in your available balance until the clock strikes midnight on the 11th. If you hit that 48-hour mark and your account is still showing 0, that is your signal to act. Start with your bank to ensure there isn't a security hold on the incoming federal wire, and if that clears, keep your 1-800-772-1213 number for the SSA on speed dial. Looking ahead to the end of the month, remember the SSI calendar trick. Because March 1st is a Sunday, your next supplemental security income payment is going to arrive on Friday, February 27. This effectively gives some of you a double-check month in February, but don't let that fool you. It is simply an early delivery of your March funds. Between the 2.8% COLA raise, the potential for back pay audits hitting accounts this week, and the massive tax refunds for early filers, February 2026 is shaping up to be a historic month for American households. We've covered the dates, the math, and the pitfalls. Now, the ball is in your court to monitor those statements. Stay proactive. Keep your My Social Security and Where's My Refund portals active, and never stop advocating for the benefits you've earned. We'll be right here with the next update as the second and third waves of payments roll out later this month.